Here's an interesting theoretical question. I was wondering for guided programming or one-on-one coaching, whatever. Do you ever see a need to program in a way that shifts the emphasis between squats and deadlifts through different cycles? It seems that when you get well above the 425 Wilks range, it becomes really hard to be able to tolerate high squat and deadlift volume at the same time. So you'd need to emphasize one lift to make progress rather than spinning your wheels and not recovering. Some people even go as far as doing this for bench press too, but that's probably not necessary for the majority of us. I actually haven't noticed that this is a necessity. Um, I haven't had to do this with anybody, and I mean I'm familiar with the theoretical underpinnings of it, and it makes sense in concept. Well, for this cycle, we're just going to do maintenance load for the deadlift, and we're really going to emphasize squats. I just haven't had a need for that in a practical setting. Um, it does create some problems doing that as well. For instance, which one do you peak on? Do you lead into a competition doing maintenance load for deadlift and really peaking your squat, or vice versa? And it gets even more complicated when you add bench into the mix. So it creates some problems, but I do think it's an interesting concept. It's something that you certainly could do. I just haven't had a need to do it yet, or maybe I'm too stubborn to do it myself. Um, I mean, I think there can be some recovery issues, but as if the training is managed well, I don't think that that's a guarantee. For instance, I did the Project Momentum style programming where you trained all three competition lifts every training day, so which was 4 times a week. And the volumes for the squats and the deadlifts were pretty much equitable. Um, that pattern actually allowed me to recover better than some of the other patterns that I've done in the past, where big chunks of volume are kind of clustered on one day. So I think that there's a lot that we can do in terms of loading pattern that's going to help an athlete recover well above the 400 Wilks range. And then there's work capacity improvements that can be brought to bear as well. Basically, I don't see at all that would be the only solution. Now, it may be a viable solution, though. It's just not something that I've had to, it's not a tool I've had to reach for yet. But I do think it's a really, really interesting tool, and I think it's fun to kind of theorize about and kind of kick around in our minds a little bit. So thanks for writing in. Thanks for submitting that question.